My name is John Galliardo, and I moved here from the state of Virginia. We started building this house in the summer of 2021, and I moved in on April 29th of 2022. And so it's been just barely under 3 years for me, and it's been a really good 3 years.
Tell us a bit about your home needs.
I moved here from the state of Virginia, and I wanted a retirement home. And so I wanted something that was relatively easy to maintain, something modern, light, and bright, and efficient, and all those kinds of things. So I didn't have a lot to build on. I didn't have a floor plan in mind. I didn't know any builders. I didn't have anybody offhand to finance construction. Lifestyle by Stadler is very trustworthy, and I really got what I wanted.
What home were you looking to build, and why was that important to you?
So I did want a setting with a little bit of privacy. That was important, not really necessarily a part of the home, but of course the location is a part of the process. I did want a one-level home for the long term. Again, I wanted something, while modest in size in terms of being able to maintain it, I did want something that didn't give an appearance of being particularly small or dark or any of those things. And this floor plan, this home definitely fits the bill in terms of that.
How did you hear about Lifestyle by Stadler?
So Lifestyle was a recommendation by John Curry at Cordillera Ranch. He knew where to send me, and actually he contacted Dean, and before I drove from Cordillera back to my hotel, Dean had called and said, "I'd be happy to help you."
So what stood out about Lifestyle by Stadler? What drove your decision to move forward with the company?
Well, one aspect of Lifestyle was that it didn't need an architect, and I didn't need a plan coming in, and I didn't have to have all the other pieces of it pulled together already myself. And so as a kind of a custom builder, literally Lifestyle found this floor plan based on what I was asking for and said, "What do you think of this?" And we made a few tweaks here and there, so clearly a more custom product and option than you would get from a production builder. But one, if you're not completely in a planning process with an architect and having thought through a lot of those details, it makes finding a home that you really want, floor plan that you really like, being able to change some features that you really want without having to do those months and sometimes over a year of advanced work with an architect. In terms of the way Lifestyle has been positioned in the marketplace, it was a really good fit for me.
Can you expand on what made you feel confident choosing Lifestyle by Stadler as your builder?
So the other part of this is that I had spent my career in sales, and so I feel like I'm able to kind of read people a little bit, and everybody on the Lifestyle team is great when I first met them. And you know, there are certain sales tactics that you might expect. Was not the case with Lifestyle. Nobody's pushing you. Nobody's trying to force you in a direction you don't want to go. Everybody was there to make sure that they were meeting my requirements. And anyway, in an initial kind of sit down, certainly with Dean and then with the rest of the team, it was one of those intuitive things where when you meet a group of people, I felt like it was a team that were trustworthy. And that's the way we set up the project to go. And it proved to absolutely be the case. And I'm sure that's not the case everywhere. I'm sitting in Virginia, 1,500 miles away, we're doing a weekly update. As much as I was gone, which was pretty much the entire time, it was up to the project manager. It was up to Dean, who would come in and look at all the stuff. It was up to the Lifestyle team to put in place a house on budget, on schedule, that all the fit and finish was right. And we did it that way. Now that was a risk. It was a risk I was willing to take, but with Lifestyle it paid off in a big way because that's exactly the way it played out. And I'm sure that wouldn't always be the case with other builders. Richard gave me a really good feeling about the financial strength of the company. You know, every step of the way it was a good experience, and the people who would give you the impression that they're going to be honest and trustworthy were honest and trustworthy.
Since you were in Virginia, how would you describe the communication and support throughout the process that you received?
Communication was terrific. So the project manager and I would have a scheduled weekly call, and it would be usually a video call, at least once a week, but there were very often updates with images and other video. And so it was constant communications. And we talked about all the construction elements. We talked about everything being on budget. We talked about schedule going forward. There was no stress being 1,500 miles away because of the team and the way the company manages it. So it was a very good experience.
Were there any standout moments that made you feel especially?
I think that when I finally rolled into town, just when the house was getting ready, that first day we met here and everybody was here. There were 3 of the guys from the construction team. Richard was here, Dean was here. Everybody was going over the house with a fine-tooth comb. And even so, we really weren't able to find anything. But that day, when you just kind of roll in and a big part of the company, especially the senior team, they're all here to walk through it with you, it was terrific.
What sets Lifestyle by Stadler apart from other builders you considered?
Didn't really press with other builders. Basically, here again, really did this in a very hands-off way. I was just counting on my feeling having Dean's attentiveness and then my feeling having met with the team. I was going to go with it. But it was really based on that experience versus feeling like I need to mitigate my risk and more fully investigate some others. That just wasn't the case in my particular case.
How do you feel when you walk into your home now?
Extremely happy with it. A very livable, very comfortable house. So all of those kind of planning discussions we had, all of the designing that we did, and all the hand-holding that the greater lifestyle team did with me was really important. And yeah, it was a very positive experience. But as you say, living here now day to day is still very, very positive for me.
Would you recommend Lifestyle by Stadler to someone considering building a home?
Yes, I absolutely would. If any of my other friends who are looking to get out of the East Coast and head out this way, if they're ever come to the Hill Country, first I would say the Hill Country is a great place to be, but I would also say that you definitely want to go with lifestyle. So my experience was one of dealing with a company that was very honest in the way they do business, and a team that was very accessible for a customer like me who wasn't around. And Lifestyle by Stadler was always, everybody there was helpful. Everybody there was available. Everybody there, all those little points where you have a chance as a customer to do a ground truth. Everybody was being honest with you. I'm very happy it turned out this way.